You are tuned in to the Strobang Show. As usual, I'm your boy Rated R. We got my dog, Rowdy Ray.
What's happening?
We got Champagne Schroeder, or Papa Schroeder.
Yup.
We got EDJ.
Hold on.
And we got B on the motherfucking couch. Not right now, but
Yeah, fair enough.
we're gonna get into a little bit of NFL talk. Gotta talk about the finals. And we got a new segment for you guys today. Stay tuned.
There's something that I take issue with that is a long-standing institution of a league we all know and love, the NFL. The draft, I feel as if there should be more agency amongst players in this. They should have more free will, if you will. What do y'all think? Am I tripping? What's going on?
Well, what's your premise behind it? Why do you think they should do that?
Just for the simple fact they essentially treat these players like damn near like chattel. You know what I'm saying? They can be bought, sold, traded, or done with as pleased by these owners, correct?
That's what the NFL is, though.
I mean,
it's
yeah.
not like the draft is something different.
I'm saying, though, like, shouldn't there be something in place for these players to have more free will amongst over themselves?
No.
Basically, more ownership for themselves.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, how would that
Not
work?
in that scenario.
Right.
I don't believe in that scenario.
No?
How would that work?
How would that work? Okay, essentially, all right, you already know how we have cap room limits, right? Limitations. Well, teams that did shittier the year before would have exceptionally more cap room than teams that did better, right? So then they wouldn't just be able to throw money at the best players. So there'd be more incentive for these players to go to teams that are paying more rather than just, keep getting gobbled up by these teams in exceptional areas. Like, the Miamis, the LAs, the New Yorks, and whatnot. And so that way they don't have to go to places where they don't feel as if they would fit or things of that nature.
I think that's part of the game, and that's also part of, like, your growing and learning process.
I mean,
as a player.
I mean, no, I get what you're saying, but I feel like they should have more choice in it. Kind of like I was saying when me and you were having a side conversation about this, the other day. It should be closer to signing day, like how it is in college football. Like, they have their top choices of where they want to go, and then they pick where they want to go.
But what would be that? Like, how would you distribute the best talent in the draft to go to? Like, how would you distribute the talent in the draft to go to a team that needs that talent?
Essentially, the quote unquote lesser teams, or what is the word I'm looking
Like,
for?
how the fuck would the Browns at 0-16 get anyone to sign to that team?
One, I feel like then they would have to give the player a better compensation package and then also hire a better staff. So then it would force these teams to actually do better instead of just hiring buddies and incompetent coaches and, things that we all complain about from time to time.
But you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry, and nepotism is always gonna be prevalent in a multi-billion-dollar industry.
That's very true, but I feel as if it would help discourage it. I mean, if you just want your team to be shitty because you want to hire your friend, then that's on you. Your organization is going to suffer because of that.
I think they're fine with that.
Okay,
Yeah.
then they'll just be shitty.
There's plenty of teams that are fine with that, I think. I mean, look no further than right here in Kansas City when you look at the Royals. They don't give a fuck if they're winning or losing.
Every
As long as
goddamn show he has to bring up the rules.
I'm just saying. I mean, they don't care about winning. They want that bottom dollar.
When's the last time the Cardinals have won a World Series?
2011.
When's the last time they won a World Series? What was it? 2015.
15.
How many y'all got? The 2?
It doesn't matter.
We have more than double that. Triple
Were you
that.
alive for most of those?
I was alive for 2 of them, and I've been alive for 4.
Oh, he was alive for 2 of them.
4 different World Series
okay.
trips.
But they
4.
but they lost 2 of those.
Wow,
Yes.
so y'all 2-2, and we're 2-1, right?
1-1.
One
Our
and one.
management is kind of shit, though.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't, but I'm just saying this guy. Anyway,
I've seen literally 2 times as many more losses in the World Series and 2 times as many more wins in the World Series than y'all. So chill.
If they didn't have Madison Bumgarner, it'd be back to back. We already know that.
Big facts.
But it wasn't. Y'all got shitted on in that World Series.
But to get back to my original point before we got derailed, but I just feel as if these players have no say in where they go.
As they shouldn't.
Why?
Well, I mean, okay, hold on. Look at what John Elway did in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
He basically held the draft hostage and said he didn't want to play for the Baltimore Colts at the time.
Eli did the same thing.
Eli did the same thing.
Yeah.
Eli said, I ain't playing for San Diego, and they figured that shit out. Maybe people should actually take hold of what actual power they have of that shit.
But that's only for the players that are considered the best player in the draft.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like a player, like maybe if Dwayne Haskins, and this is completely hypothetical, like let's say he didn't agree with the way Dan Snyder does things in DC, right?
He could have said, I'm not going to play for you.
But I'm saying, like, it's frowned upon. They would have slaughtered him in the media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because,
That's something you got to deal with that.
but I'm saying, like, it shouldn't have to be like that.
Why?
Why?
Yeah,
Because
why?
you should have a choice. You make a choice.
Why?
You make a choice to where you want to work, right? Nobody put a
Okay.
gun in your head and was like, "Hey, you got to go work here." Right?
Okay.
It wasn't pre-chosen. It wasn't pre-chosen.
But if I'm
But I'm
getting
also-
paid millions
exactly,
of
I'm not getting paid
dollars
millions
to
of
get
dollars.
told
but
to go,
if
I'm
you
going
can,
wherever
if
I
you
want.
can get paid millions of dollars and choose to where you want to go,
Okay.
wouldn't you want that? Yes, you would.
That's
So,
not how that's not how life
it
works.
How come it doesn't? You can make it that way. You can literally make it that way.
If you want
Dude,
to
Bill
be a
Gates.
starting quarterback or a starter in the league, and you are considered a first round pick out of the top 10, we'll go first 10 picks, and you're considered a top 10 pick. Usually 10 of those guys are instant starters, or at least 5 of them are. So if you're considered one of the top 10 guys, you want to go somewhere where you can start right away and be that guy. You don't want to be Nick Bosa, who got drafted to the Patriots and isn't going to play for 3 years. You want to be a guy that can play right now and improve yourself.
Right. So this plays right into where I'm saying, right? So then because then they can go to these shitty teams where they know they'll start, right?
But that's part of the draft, though. Because they're
It's a part of their choice because then they have to make a hard choice between location and best opportunity to them, right? Right. So, okay.
I guess.
Ain't no I guess, goddammit.
So since one of the main, so you said you basically had an analogy that was real world based, right?
Yeah.
So I'll throw you one back.
All right.
The NFL owners are, you would say you would agree that they're the
Yeah.
governing bodies
They are.
of the league. Our governing bodies aren't going to do something that's going to empower us.
That's very true.
And I don't think the NFL governing bodies are going to do that. They're not going to give the players more power that they could have for themselves, which is going to equal more money.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's for the simple fact that once you get past the top 10 picks, I mean, you still got, however many teams left, and they've still got to pick guys. And they're not going to let, a kid that's considered a mid-round starter, to decide, I don't want to play for you, I'll play for somebody else. No, you're going to play for us because this is where you fell to us at. And it just doesn't make any sense for a kid that's, 24th pick to get to decide from 24 to 30 where he wants to play. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, and not even to mention, what have you done in the NFL? You literally have not gotten on the field and
Exactly.
proved yourself.
That too.
The only thing, when we were having this discussion the other day, the only way I'm totally down for this is replace college football. Replace college football with a minor league system. Have your signing day, build them up just like baseball. Have at least a 2-year minimum. They're still getting paid. Have a 2-year minimum of being in this minor league system, and then move them up and call them up for whatever season. Or just like how in baseball works. The Kareem Hunt thing. Mm-hmm. The Chiefs could have just brought up a running back from their farm system. I don't think that's an awful idea, but at the same time, the way it works right now in the draft, I'm for that. I think it's a good, because you're not going to be able to get people to go to these shitty places to play. You're just not.
If they can offer more, compensation wise, and also let them start, as opposed to being a backup and making less in a location that they desire, there's still incentive on both sides.
But then
right?
you're also doing something where you're playing with everybody else's money, and ain't nobody going to be for that.
And what
At all.
if they're a flop anyway?
And especially in the NFL. You want to come
that's
in
a
and tell
debate.
me
That is
how I can
debatable.
spend my money? Fuck that. Nobody's gonna be down for that.
Huh? That's what the cap. Isn't that what the cap is?
Yeah, but you're talking about changing the cap every year on every single other team based on performance instead of you're getting a 30-second pick. Well, now the Patriots, their cap space is going down every single year. Rather than, yeah, that's fucking dumb.
It's a balance of powers.
It is, but it's a silly way to do it. And not to mention, I mean, you're getting less money for winning. That's like the opposite of what should happen.
I guess, but wouldn't the owner wouldn't have no opposition to that? Not really. That's more money in his pocket, right? And that's what it's all about, the bottom dollar.
The owner wouldn't have an opposition to not drafting someone who could help their team further.
This is something that only the players would go for. And even then, I mean, I don't know. Especially those late round guys, I mean, nobody gives a fuck about you anymore, especially. You are going to be in Cleveland, or, I mean, Cleveland's gotten a little bit better, but you're going to be in these, Cincinnati, shitty places to play. Oakland, Miami.
Buffalo.
That's the main place I keep thinking about
Yeah.
every time. Why?
You going to join Bill's Mafia. Don't nobody want that.
No.
So
I don't. That's just the whole thing.
it's just going to breed shitty teams. You're going to stay shitty. These teams are going to stay good.
Well, let me ask you this: what would be your end result of it? What would you hope it would bring to the NFL if that were to happen?
Mainly just a bit more power to the players, the lifeblood of the league. You know what I'm saying? They are the sole reason why we tune in. I don't give a damn about somebody's front office. I care about the players. That's who I want to see. These exceptional athletes on the field, right? And they're still possibly the lowest paid professional players in this country. Across the board, yeah.
NFL players?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and this is the highest grossing league in the country, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just, I just want more for them. If it's not more money, then more agency over themselves.
If anything, they need more of is personal finance.
I mean that, but they also deserve more money too. All in all, to be honest, like they deserve more money.
Ray trying to get niggas paid. That's all Ray trying to do.
I agree though. I
Wait
think
for niggas getting paid 2020. Vote for me.
Ray niggas getting paid. That's what Ray trying to do. Ray trying to get niggas paid.
Pretty much.
I think they need to be paid more too, but I think there's a better way of doing it than destroying the draft process. I think the draft process is kind of fine where it is.
Well, and not to mention how much money the NFL would lose out on the draft weekend. And
Right.
literally something we just talked about last week about, different draft locations. So, you're definitely not going to be able to do that for a quote-unquote signing day for the NFL.
I mean, that's also true, and that would affect a lot of job loss because there's a lot that goes into, like, production teams and, camera crews and what have you. So, I mean, yeah, there is a caveat to it.
Well, and I mean, you could turn it into a bunch of different things, like with the signing day and have people there for everybody's
at different
signings,
locations. But
is it really as exciting as the NFL
and then
draft?
also, it's not as cost effective because then you have one singular location. Then you have to plan the logistics. You have to put different camera crews in different parts of America like that.
And I don't think
that costs too much.
nobody wants to go sit or, go and watch the draft, like my man Randy said, go get drunk at the draft and watch motherfuckers negotiate contracts.
Essentially.
That's the last thing I want to watch.
Yeah,
besides golf.
Yeah, I don't think I would have wanted to watch the Chiefs trade up and hope Patrick Mahomes signed with them.
Because, I mean, because cities like ours would be a casualty of it all, too. Because what really draws a person to Kansas City? What would draw a person to Kansas City? Exactly.
I don't
Pat
know. I think our
Mahomes?
fandom would.
I feel you there because I definitely agree with you with the fandom and everyone that's played here. I mean, look at all of these different legends that come back and say, "Man, Kansas City was the best time I've ever had in my career."
Except for Tony Gonzalez, bastard.
All right, come on, cuz. Let it go.
No,
Let it go.
no, I'm not letting it go.
It's like
No.
every 2 episodes.
No.
Come on, bro.
I don't think with the Tony G thing it even matters because I mean we all know where he was when he was Tony G, and I mean I don't think he truly feels like that about his time with the Falcons.
Don't care. Don't say it.
Yeah. Plus,
Atlanta made my career. Whatever.
plus, man, come on, cuz was you there when he was giving money to like disadvantaged kids? Shopping sprees. Like he would take 10 kids every Christmas, $500 a piece.
Hey,
That's love.
I just got to shout out Tony Richardson real quick for that, because Tony Richardson was the best at doing shit like that.
Yeah.
Real shit.
And the greatest fullback of all time.
I remember him, Eddie.
Bullshit. He is the greatest
I didn't say he
fullback
wasn't.
of all time. This man said, no, hands fucking down. Most 1,000-yard rushers behind him ever. Priest Holmes, Thomas Jones, I'm pretty sure, Adrian Peterson. 3 different guys.
I just wanted to
And
say it.
LaDainian Tomlinson, not to mention.
God damn.
I don't know many other fullbacks that are that
bro,
great,
you-
honestly.
you
I
have
was
made
just
the
talking
case.
shit.
Exactly. Greatest fullback all time. T. Rich.
I mean, I can't name 5 other fullbacks to be
Yeah.
honest. So you kind of
Anthony Sherman.
Michael Tolbert is better.
Damn.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, he didn't even say all stop, bro. He said Tolbert.
The Charger? Mike Tolbert?
Damn, bro.
No, okay.
Randy out here trolling again. Come on, man.
Like a motherfucker.
Come on, man.
I'm gonna let you have.
So basically, in closing, this is purely a spectacle for me. Like I'm just a hypothetical process I thought about, and I just want more power to the players. I feel like they deserve more power. They make these people all this money, and they have no agency. And it's almost like a metaphor for the American public. You know what I'm saying? Like we go taxed, and I feel like a lot of us don't have as much say as we deserve. You know what I'm saying? And we're literally the backbone of the country. So,
Yeah.
I just kind of got lost in my thoughts for a minute. So,
GameStop about to tax you for all the times you use their fucking tagline.
oh, shit,
Power to the players.
Hey, please do not sue us. We have nothing.
I think the players got to quit letting the owners fuck them in the CBA too.
Facts.
That's
Yeah.
Bro.
That's a big part.
The NFLPA,
Well, and-
they go out like bitches every time.
Not to
bro.
mention, they've already mentioned to players to brace themselves and get ready for a lockout in, is it 21 or 22, I think.
Jesus Christ.
But they said, yeah, don't play around with your money too much, because we might not be playing.
Because they need to play hardball.
They do. And look at the outrage with the replacement refs. Imagine if we had if we didn't have Pat Mahomes out there on Sunday, we would freak the fuck out in Kansas City.
Good God.
You got a bunch of replacement people. Fucking Cincinnati's gonna be in the Super Bowl.
Facts.
Oh. Who's the backup for Mahomes right now?
Damn.
Exactly. I think. What's his name?
Yeah, these are 3 rabid Chiefs fans.
Jesus
I can't.
No
think of-
idea.
Can't think of his name.
Yo, on a
I
side
think he
note,
played for Miami.
Throw
Can't remember.
Sorensen in at quarterback. Maybe he could do something right at that
Hey,
position.
bro, man, come on, cuz. Let it go. You about as bad as EDJ, man. Damn.
Nah, he works with the Source.
You right. It's be starting to become like every episode thing, bro. Anytime Chiefs is brought up, fucking Sorensen.
Fucking Sorensen.
But no. On a side note, does anybody know where Blake Bortles went?
L.A.
L.A.
Oh, that's
Backing
right.
up golf.
That's not bad. That's a decent position for him.
Probably
Should be
played
high.
better in the playoffs than golf did.
Damn.
Shit.
Ouch. I mean, I'm not high on golf, and I'm still not saying that. Ow.
All right, but so kind of rounding this segment up, we just kind of thought it would be a really good debate of kind of what's your stance on the draft. Let us know. Comment on it. Are you pro-draft or are you not for the draft?
The boy just can't get right, but we gonna get right with Ray.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a new Showbank Show segment I like to call Get Right with Ray, where I come on the show and give a few health tips that I feel have improved my life and hopefully improve yours. So let's get right to it. I know the average American consumes copious amounts of coffee in search of caffeine, and I feel like there's plenty of alternatives that people can use that help. More natural sources you can use are more like guarana.
Why do they need to use more natural sources instead of coffee and other get-ups?
Yeah,
for that
why?
caffeine?
Because
Why?
I fuck with my coffee, all right? I need my
and
coffee.
I'm not even gonna lie, coffee is
natural, Chief?
not really. It is, but the bean is what we use. We don't use the entire coffee fruit. If we did, it would be a lot better. It's not as acidic on the system. It's not as taxing to the adrenal system. Our adrenal systems are drained just because the amount of caffeine we pump in from unnatural acidic sources. So if we decided to use more natural sources, as I was saying earlier with guarana,
Hey, how you spell that, cuz?
Guarana, guarana, or yerba mate, yerbamate, yerba mate.
That shit fire.
Delicious. You can brew it as a tea. They sell it in average gas stations. And if you're, have a sensitivity to different types of sugars, you need something sweeter on the lower glycemic index. Use stevia, agave, maple syrup, honey if that's your thing, if you can handle that. But those are good alternatives. And then
Maple syrup for real?
yeah, all
That's
natural.
wild.
Yeah, it's so much better for you, and that shit is sweet.
Yeah.
Hey, my tequila made with agave. Is that the same thing?
Hey, I will say agave is fuego though.
Yes,
Bro.
thank you. First,
Yeah.
but yeah, you know what?
All right, fuck my question. Okay.
No, could you repeat that again?
My tequila is made with agave. Is that all right?
No.
Well, fuck you then.
Oh, my bad. Damn. Just for the simple fact, alcohol is acidic in nature. It's not really that conducive to the system. Be on the couch about to be out the house, but
I drove today, bitch.
all the more reason to leave. But a natural brain tonic that you can make yourself if you can go to a health store, you can get guarana, mix it with your favorite tea, add some yerba mate, combined with Gotu Kola, GOTUKOLA, ginkgo biloba, and holy or blessed thistle.
Why are we making brain tonics?
Because I've noticed that there's a rise and search for nootropics. People want to figure out ways to enhance their brain function, cognitive function, and these are natural ways to do it rather than a lot of these calcium-packed sources that inevitably lead to kidney stones and adverse health problems. So to avoid that, you can just use more natural sources and brew them in a tea or put them into your everyday supplements.
And I like that thought of going all natural rather than, buying something from a brand that's like, you don't really know how they're making this, what they're doing. And just to be in, whatever brand.
Because then if you made it yourself, you know what's going on with it.
Exactly. You know exactly what
You have
put
full
into
control of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want everybody to do. Be in control of yourself. Because if you don't, who will?
All right, we got the NBA Finals that started this past week. Game 1, 118 to 109. The Raptors have moved ahead 1-0. Game 2 Sunday from Toronto as well. What are you guys' thoughts on the series thus far with the first game?
I mean, I'm not surprised that Toronto took at least one of them, especially in Toronto. They played really well at home. But I was kind of surprised of how so-so Kawhi Leonard played. I mean, he played decent. I think we looked it up earlier. He had 23 points, something like that.
23 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yeah, I mean, which is good. But I mean, for the way he's been playing all playoffs, it definitely isn't on his level. I was kind of surprised that DeMarcus Cousins didn't bring more to the table than he did returning to the lineup. I thought that would really help in their matchups against Siakam and people like that to kind of add an extra big to the Warriors' ball movement. But it really didn't. Klay Thompson, inaccurate again. Steph Curry doing the best he can. If he's a no-show, Draymond Green really stepped it up. Again, I think Draymond Green has really been impressive since the absence of KD. And that's somebody they're going to need to keep going because Draymond Green can really carry. He can't really carry a team to victory, but he can help out in an essential way for sure. But
Draymond had a triple-double, 10, 10, and 10.
yeah, I mean, he's really stepped it up, and I think that's what they're going to need to keep going. Like I said, I think this is going to be a good series. I think the Warriors get them at 6, but I'm not surprised that Toronto won at least 1 or 2 at home.
Yeah, kind of piggyback off of what EDJ said, man. I'm not surprised that Toronto won. I think they're going to actually get both games in Toronto. I'm not surprised with them winning. More so I'm surprised with how they won. Like EDJ said, Kawhi having a subpar game. and just the other guys stepping up. And I think that's going to be a big question moving forward is can they take that to Golden State? Because that's going to be a teller of if they can really have a chance of winning the series.
Especially with Kawhi only putting up 23 and they won by 9, having that so-so game.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, the score isn't really a big indicator of how much they really dominated the game.
Right. Warriors had a lot of turnovers in that game, especially in the first half.
And just, Warriors, I think we're used to the Warriors being a little reckless with the ball and
It's 16 total turnovers.
Yep, starting relatively slow, but usually they play teams where they have enough talent to outlast them and win. So
And Toronto shot better from 3 than Golden State.
Well, that was on Thompson. I mean, Thompson was, again, just erratic and not
Very
where he's
erratic.
at. And if you're going to complain about being not an all-NBA team,
Yep.
I mean, step up and show it. But
no KD,
and the
you
other-
got the
and no
ample
KD.
amount of touches. You have to step up in this situation, especially moving forward. You're getting the max dollars eventually, pending this summer. So you really got to step up. I think the other guys in Toronto need to be praised. The Van Vliets, Pascal Siakam, Ibaka, Kyle Lowry. I mean, I'm so surprised by how he's been playing this postseason. I know we have tons of jokes about him not being able to come through, and rightfully so, right? But the way he's been playing this postseason, I mean, I have to zip my lips and really just.
Well, I mean, he's never had a Kawhi, though. So, I mean, that could be, a factor until he can play off him.
He's
But,
he's on that Julian Edelman.
I wouldn't say all that, but
He's
also
just got a little
he-
sample.
He didn't have to deal with, the terror of the East this year. Also, you know what I'm saying? So that I feel like that also plays a factor. It's got to be demoralizing losing to the same man year in and year out. You know what I'm saying? You only get so far, and then you meet this just brick wall basically. So I feel like that definitely plays a part in Kyle Lowry's performances as of late.
And I agree with you, but at the same time, it's a lot of simple things he just wasn't doing right in previous series. I mean, just even being aggressive. I mean, take the shots. Like, take shots if you're open. Push the pace of the game. It's just simple point guard duties that he just wasn't carrying out in past series. And this time, I think he's taking note of that and he's doing it now.
So moving forward in the series, how does everybody kind of feel how we're going to move forward and what the series is going to look like from here?
I really think Toronto's going to take it.
You think Toronto's going to take the whole series?
I think Toronto's going to take the whole series. I think this is just they're giving the Warriors a very different feel, and I haven't really seen the Warriors since they got in KD. I haven't seen a team put this much pressure on the Warriors since last year. I guess the Rockets in the conference finals.
a little bit, yeah.
So I mean, I just think this is a different look. They can pressure all your guards. It's not really many defensive holes with Toronto like there are other teams. So this is just a different feel for the Warriors.
And to touch on that real quick, I was real impressed by how they would bring Marc Gasol up to guard Curry on the double team. Putting an extra large body on Steph Curry to force him, to be trapped in the corner. It was just a brilliant defensive scheme. That's not always going to work.
Right.
I think they took advantage of Durant not being on the floor because then you have 2 stars that you have to guard instead of 3.
And you can't put Gasol's slow foot self on the
No,
court.
and that was the thing. You had to have him double somebody, and you had to make sure that it was instantly, or else Curry was going to get by him. So it was a great job by Nick Nurse to draw that up, and Curry, even though he scored a decent amount of points, you could tell it frustrated the Warriors team in general. But as the series goes, it kind of reminds me of when the Cleveland came back on him 3-1. It kind of gives that feel towards, once Cleveland got the first win. It feels like that team. It feels like the team that, thinks they're going to win the series, but then they realize that the other team they're playing has more to offer than they believed. So as much as I've said Warriors, I'll give it to Toronto in 7.
Wow.
Bold.
For
Very
real.
bold. But I mean, after that Game 1 performance, it's validated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it
very
doesn't go
much.
unwarranted. I still see Golden State getting this in 6, but I got a question. If Kawhi beats this team, where does that put him in all-time rankings?
Moves him up
No.
a little bit.
It moves him up. All time, he just has a lot more to do to
Yeah, he
like
does.
really
Yeah.
be up there. In
His
the
legacy
all-time
isn't
ranking.
set yet.
He hasn't really. I mean, I know he's a Finals MVP, right? He has a championship to his name, but at the same time, we know what that Finals MVP was about.
Mm-hmm.
That was about clamping up LeBron James more than it was about his offensive output. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, he's slowly on the uprise, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, classic textbook two-way player. I mean, it's great for the game. So hopefully he gives us more moments to where we can put him up in the top 40s, 50s, or whatever of all-time rankings.
And who knows where he's going to go after the summer? I mean, I don't know if he wins the title. Does he stay in Toronto? Who knows? I don't think he will, but he could. And and then that could create his legacy. Carrying a Toronto organization that doesn't have really anything to show for them being an organization. So that could be, the stronghold in his legacy. Being the Toronto's head guy outside of Vince Carter.
True. Basically being the savior of Toronto, the Messiah.
Yep.
I'm gonna stay with Ray though. I think Golden State still got this. I don't think Toronto's gonna end up winning the series. I think it was a really good game, and I think they play a lot better at home than they play on the road. And I think eventually Golden State will kind of break them down a little bit. So I'll give them 7 games. I'll give them all 7.
Give him 7?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Golden State in 7.
All right, y'all. We got a new segment. It's called Tyrone. And
Because this nigga's name really is
that
Tyrone.
nigga real name is Tyrone. There's still niggas in 2019 named Tyrone.
Back.
And basically, we have him call into the show, and we try to find out what the hell is on his mind. So what's on your mind, T?
Baby mamas.
Baby mamas, y'all.
Yours or just in general?
No. I love all baby mamas.
Now, you want to air out your baby mama or just all
Except
baby
my
mama?
baby mama. No. I got love for her. A little bit, But
Just a little bit?
Yeah,
Or-
just why
or
a little bit, man.
Was it from last week when she made you watch your kid?
hey, no. No, she gave me my little mama, so I appreciate her for that. She a cool mom.
That's all we gotta say?
She a cool mom, She don't let me go out with my niggas.
As much as you want to? Is that why you don't fuck with her today?
Cause
I mean, because,
Nah, T, you said fuck baby mamas.
yeah, like, you gotta listen, I want to say
Right,
some
you're right,
some
you're
real
right, you're
ignorant
right. I
stuff,
said
but I'm gonna
fuck
be
baby
real
mamas.
respectful. Let's go ahead, air this out.
Fuck
Last
baby
week,
mamas.
she did what?
I mean, I like baby mamas that ain't my baby mama too, though. They make me happy, I
Alright.
can take care of the kid for a little bit and then dip out.
So part-time father, huh?
Oh, he applying for a stepdad of the year. That's what he...
Okay, right on.
It's stepdad season, little shorty from the Bumble. She kicked that game too.
Oh no.
He said the
Little
shorty...
shorty from the Bumble was kicking me.
Okay.
I was feeling it. So, I'm running with it. Stepdaddy of the year.
Okay, fair enough. Well, listen.
And Ray and P, I do be spending time with my little mama. I ain't no deadbeat. That ain't the case.
Hey, he asked
Don't fuck with her
yesterday.
mama.
He said, "What are we doing? What's the move for tonight?" And I was like, "Are you gonna take care of your child?" And he's like, "I did that already."
Oh shit. Come on,
Nah,
cuz.
he lying. Read the text. Read the text for verbatim.
Hey, verbatim?
Verbatim.
I can't do that because I was on Snap. We was on Snap when we said it, so it's deleted. That's how.
You right.
Yeah, that's how I protect myself.
I said.
But both y'all niggas living foul.
But my mama loves
Hey,
me.
but
Barely.
the only blessing is that he ain't got no kid.
Yeah, facts.
That's love.
That he know about.
Facts.
Exactly.
Facts.
Either way.
So
So
back to this.
Yeah, back to the baby mama. What in
Back
specific
to this baby mama.
is it that you not feeling about your baby mama, T?
She don't want to see a nigga happy, dog. At all.
Do women ever want to see a nigga happy, bro?
Okay, Randy. That's a good question. It's a good question. If she like you, yeah. If she fuck with you, yeah. Like if you around her, if you around her, then they want you happy. If you ain't happy, then that's where the problem comes.
So they only they only cool with you being happy as long as you're around them. When you ain't around them, you supposed to be miserable, huh?
If they aren't the source of happiness,
Mm-hmm.
shit is not okay.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. Shit, get her out. Shit, get her out. I was, man, shit. I was out with B last night. We was kicking it. You know, we wasn't doing too much. I posted one snap, and it tied in together, so it wasn't nothing. We was just in the car. There wasn't no bitches in there.
Wasn't no
Nothing-
bitches.
I don't mean bitches in a derogatory manner.
We just mean it wasn't no bitches in the car. We don't
You
mean
know,
that.
but it wasn't no women. It wasn't no black women in the car. You know. So I get a text.
That
I get
does
a text
not.
this morning. I get a text this morning, and I ain't gonna lie. You know, I was out in Gladstone, Ray, so you know where I was at. But
Oh, okay.
That's another story.
It sure is, but we gonna hold that down.
That's another story.
I'm gonna
So I
air
get
that
a
out.
text. I get a text. So I get a text. You ain't gonna see your daughter this weekend? So I ain't think much of it, you know.
Right.
I wasn't gonna text her back because of where I was at anyway. You know? I ain't disrespectful like that. So when I get ready to veer off and I leave, I call her. I'm like, yo, what is you tripping on? What's the deal? I just think it's funny how
Damn, she hit you with the classic line, bro.
facts. She ain't even my girl, so you know that was out of pocket right there. First off. Oh, and then let me add to this. Again, me and her never were together. You know, it was she just ended up having my baby. Real cool though. She real cool people. Before I had a baby with her.
All right, bro.
This is just some strange. He just so happening.
To
Nah,
impregnate.
bro, we was friends. You know, you boys.
Starting off
You know,
as
you
close
still
friends.
Hey, cuz, now y'all about to make me get personal.
He about to start spilling his whole life story.
This nigga sounding real emotional.
He gonna cry in the car. He gonna cry in the car.
Nah, nigga, I'm gonna cry later, nigga.
Hey, listen. Hey, his snap is gonna be him drinking something, probably some Crown or something like that, and
Crown
he gonna be super emotional on it.
Mhm.
And that's gonna be his snap later. That's gonna be
And my
him.
eyes gonna be red.
Yeah, facts.
And I'm still gonna make the Gladstone. Nah, I'm gonna Leavenworth tonight.
Oh shit. Hey boy,
But
be safe.
That's a whole nother story. Let's get back to this.
Right.
Let's get
Back to the situation at hand.
So, I'm like, yo, what's the deal? What's your problem? I just think it's funny how you can go out, drink, probably talk to bitches, probably do whatever the hell you do, but you can't see your daughter.
Mm.
So I'm like, you know, what weekend is it? I don't know why the fuck you talking to me like that. I ain't raised my voice. I ain't do nothing like that. I just said what week it is. I was talking to B yesterday, man. My next weekend for my daughter is the 15th. Got that shit on the dot, and that's a payday. You already know how it go. So she tripping. And then I asked her, I can't even say that, you know, that's too much. I ain't gonna say that.
Oh, you reading the
That's
text? You reading the text to see what you said?
Yeah, that's
All right, no, he trying to get it actual factual.
Okay,
I
fair
respect
enough.
that.
I
Respect
ain't
that.
trying to. I ain't trying to.
He ain't trying to defame her
I
name.
don't want the female viewers to think I ain't shit, you know, because that ain't true.
Shit. But go ahead, keep going.
All right, so shit. So I asked her that. I asked her what I asked her, and then so then she asked me. Oh damn, I can't say that one either, bro.
Oh no, say whatever you need to, bro. This is your time.
Okay, bro. So she brought up a certain someone in my past that will remain nameless. Ray and B know who I'm talking about. We'll
Right,
let
right.
that ride too.
Oh, are we just gonna refer to this as WG?
Facts.
Okay,
Alright.
fair enough. I know. See,
Okay.
I'm on the right path.
Okay, yeah, we got it.
Facts. So Randy, Levi, you know, everybody else in there. We gonna backtrack a little bit. So a certain situation happened a few months back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, involved the child of my daughter's mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm too proud of it. Not too upset about it either. It was an accident. Didn't mean to happen, you know.
What in specific happened, T?
You kind of beating around the bush about
Shit.
how you beat some bush.
All right. I was trying to leave that to L to say, but it's already been said.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
So
A certain situation happened. You know, your boy. You know,
so you can neither confirm nor deny that you crashed your baby mama.
I cannot.
So what it sounds like is
And so the fallout from that situation led to what?
A whole bunch of other shit.
In specific, T.
Hey, dog.
Oh,
Wait a second, hey, dog.
Hey. What? Man, so skipping back to it, so she talking to me.
Right.
She talking to me. So actually, you know what? I actually hung up on her. She was just getting real irritating, so I hung up on her, right?
Had to hit the FU button.
respectable.
Right. And then you already know what I did next. I put that phone on Do Not Disturb.
Right on. Ooh,
So I didn't even hear it.
ouch.
Oh yeah, facts. So then about 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, she pull up to my mama house. And not for me, me and her ain't talking nothing like that. My daughter wasn't even with her. She came here. She was talking to my mom about some shit, you know. So then my mama asked me a question about that certain WG after she had left. So basically, your baby mamas will do everything in their power to make sure that you aren't happy if it ain't with them.
Damn, so she sabotaged what you had with the WG.
No.
No, he sabotaged. He sabotaged that.
I mean, yeah, it sounded like he was saying she sabotaged it.
nah, he did that.
I mean, we know, B. But I'm saying, is that how you feel? Is that how you feel, T?
I just took the blame. I said I did that.
Okay.
I admit it.
That's honorable.
I fucked that up. But my thing is that your baby mama gonna do whatever it is to help. You know, that night. Because I'll be honest, since we're on the show, I sent that text that night.
Okay.
To my baby mama.
You sent that drunk text. Fair enough.
I sent that text. She didn't have to respond.
That's a fact.
So I blame her.
Hey, hold on. Hey, I was with you right till you said that, bro.
Bro, she didn't have to respond.
She didn't, but so you saying that the blame is 50-50?
She living her best life. Cause we gonna skip forward to what last week when he was on daddy duty.
Uh-huh.
And in the group chat, we started to talk about why he was on daddy duty and what said person was doing while she was out enjoying herself. She was going to find some she was going to go find some stepdaddy candidates. You know what I mean? That's what
some potential suitors.
Yeah, she was going out looking for stepdaddy. She was like, she put on that fuck 'em dress.
Fuck 'em, girl.
Fuck
'em.
And that's what she intended to do.
Which was fine with me. I said I had no problem with that. I said that last week.
Oh, okay.
I still don't have no problem. I'm trying to be a stepdaddy shit. I can go out with my niggas more if she got a stepdaddy, and that's a fact. Wait. Why are you laughing? Why is that? What do you mean? I can go. Yo, I spent time with my
Hey, man, sometimes true funny like that, bro.
No, bro, no. Hey, bro. I'm just saying, dog. So it's okay for her to go put her freakum up dress, find her my daughter a new stepdaddy. But as soon as I say it's cool for her to have a stepdaddy, then I'm out of fight.
Nah, bro, it's just not many. I in my experience, I haven't seen that many dudes just cool with their baby mama finding a potential stepdaddy.
But yeah, bro. I mean that's because 90% of the dudes you're talking about, they love that bride.
Right.
I mean, I don't gotta say it, but I mean, I'm just saying.
We don't love them hoes. Is that what you saying, bro?
No, I would never call the mother of my child a hoe.
Oh,
But I was waiting on
However,
she does have some whole tendencies.
You know, man, I'm trying to be a man of God. You know, I might go to church tomorrow. I know it's quite a few features in the church house, so I mean, I'm just trying to get my life together, dog. Maybe my daughter had this shit. My daughter might need a sibling soon. If I find one in the church, hey, that's a good move right there, I think.
Did you just say what I think you said?
At least I'm going to church.
Oh shit! All right, boy, I'm about to get you off of this shit before you set my phone on fire.
Get off the phone. Get off the fucking phone.
All right, my G's.
All right.
All right, man. Appreciate you stopping by. We're gonna try to make this more regular, my G.
All right, bro. Be
You
careful.
gotta call Tyrone. Oh, can we say that? Is that copyrighted?
No, that's copyright.
Kinda.
That's copyright.
Well,
You're
shit.
getting fined.
Hey, nigga.
We appreciate you on
Change your
team.
name.
All right, my G's.
Yeah, bro. You have a good night.
You too, bro. Oh yeah, congratulations too, bro.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you see how he stayed out of this. You see how he avoided this whole
He avoided
conversation.
all baby mama.
Yeah,
Why
nah.
you got his pass? I didn't lob nothing up. I didn't lob not a single word to him. I didn't
Mhm.
lob it.
That's a fact.
That was a good boy, Levi. Stayed out of this conversation. You laughed, but I mean, even she might draw. You might catch a knife to the back just because laughing. But you know, it's whatever.
and you know she know
I'll
your
come out on my
loud,
Paul Pierce.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's it. This is going on.
Thank you for tuning in to the Shrowbank Show. Hope you enjoyed a couple of our new segments this week. Hit us up on Instagram and Twitter to let us know what you want to hear next on the Shrowbank Show. And we'll see you next time. We're out of here.
Shrowbanks out.